Hey there, welcome to Izzo's Place. So, it's accidentally Sippin' Sunday. This is not going to be a regular thing. I really, I think of this channel as a construction channel, but then every Thursday we do at least 2 videos. Doing a neck pour, doing a long review of some alcohol. And I thought it would help the channel if, because this is a fairly new release, this Traveler blend, and I'll explain what that is in a little bit. But that it might be trending. I don't know if it is or not. So I figured I better make a video. So 3 videos have already come out. I had 4 videos have already come out. There's 4 shorts. There's 2 unboxing shorts and 2 neck pour shorts of these 2 bottles here. Because I'm pretty sure I hadn't done a neck bottle short of the Buffalo Trace, even though that is a staple here in Izzo's household. I always have some of that handy. And then this is, of course, brand new, so we did the neck pour on that. Now, what I'm going to do, and I have to be careful how I look at the camera and how I look at these glasses, because there are identifying marks on the glasses. I don't know which is which right now. I was able to confuse myself enough. As long as I don't look at the marks. And future Izzo, editing Izzo, may have put what they are for your benefit, but at this time I don't know what they are, and I'm an honest guy. If I accidentally let myself know, if I accidentally reveal earlier which glass is which, then I'll let you know. But let's go ahead and talk about the Buffalo Trace first. So Buffalo Trace whiskey, you know, you hear, if you're into whiskey even a little bit, you hear about Buffalo Trace all the time, and it is very good whiskey. I've noticed here in Ohio that it's getting easier to come by. Used to be I would just snap it up anytime I saw it, you know, when it was priced reasonably, and really the suggested retail price for this is only $27, and it's so good and so cheap. So I got in the habit of snapping it up whenever I saw it, and I got myself up to like 12 backup bottles, because I like to give them out as gifts and things, and also I just enjoy drinking it. So I got myself up to 12 bottles. It's been easier to get lately, so I just said, okay, no more hoarding the Buffalo Trace. Wait till you only have like 1 left, and then buy some more. Because in addition to 12 here at home, I've got 2 1.75 liters at the shop, so I'm not running out of Buffalo Trace anytime soon. But if you see it, I highly recommend it. If you're into whiskey, it's got a good taste, and the proof on it is 90 proof, so that's 45% alcohol. So it's not, you know, overly proofy. Bourbon usually has to be at least, or I believe it has to be at least 80 proof for it to be bourbon. So, and I don't know if I would want to go much lower than that anyway. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery in Franklin County, Kentucky. And Buffalo Trace, probably the company that owns Buffalo Trace, Sazerac, they do a lot of the famous ones that you hear. They do Blanton's, they do Eagle Rare, they do E.H. Taylor, what else? And then some of the ones that you're rarely to never gonna see unless you pay a lot of money for. They do the Pappy Van Winkle family products. They do the Double Eagle Rare, the Eagle Rare 17, like all these crazy things. George T. Stagg Jr. Well, I guess that's just called Stagg now, and so that Buffalo Trace comes from that, and Buffalo Trace, that distillery oversees all of that stuff. So it's a neat little, and there's a neat little bit of history. Actually, I haven't done too many tours. I've done 2-3 tours, and then just, you know, gone to a bunch of distilleries like without taking the tour. I'm hoping to do more of that next year, and of course we'll put it on the channel, so that way you get to benefit and see what you might or might not want to visit for yourself. But that's one of my favorite tours, and it's free. It's just, you know, sometimes it fills up, so you gotta look in advance on your vacation and see what you can do. Sometimes you can walk in and get one, especially if you're just like 1 or 2 people. You might be able to sneak into a tasting pretty easy. But a lot of times those bookings fill up fast if you're planning on making a trip to Buffalo Trace. When you go there to Buffalo Trace, you can, they'll always have, and I think it's a 2-bottle limit now, they'll always have the standard Buffalo Trace for you to buy, at least, you know, starting out early in the day. It may sell out at some point. And then they'll always have the Buffalo Trace, the bourbon cream, which is very good. If you put that on ice cream, oof. If You put it in your coffee, oh my. You can also mix it with root beer and have a crazy awesome adult root beer float. And then what else? And they have I believe they have a gin and a vodka that's usually available. And then they'll release one of 4 other bottles, usually a Sazerac Rye, E.H. Taylor, Eagle Rare, or Blanton's. And Weller Special, the Green Weller. So I guess 5. Unless maybe the Sazerac Rye is always available these days, I'm not sure. But they'll have a special bottle each day that you can get, and people will go and line up. That line gets pretty long sometimes, and people will line up and get whatever the special bottle of the day is. So it's a neat little setup they've got. But now let's go ahead and talk about this and why I'm pairing it up against Buffalo Trace. So Traveler Whiskey, blended whiskey, blend number 40. So let's go ahead and read this to you. That'll be better than trying to explain it, right? Traveler Whiskey. And he spells Traveler with 2 L's. Good whiskey is like a good song. It requires no explanation. One taste should tell you everything you need to know. No one has to tell you how you feel about it. You simply settle in and enjoy. I can agree with all that. For this first-of-a-kind collection... No, sorry. Sometimes the little letters are hard to read, even though Izzo got his eyes fixed. Ooh, should I start doing that? Should I refer to myself in the third person all the time? Anyway. For this first-of-its-kind collaboration from Buffalo Trace Distillery, Traveler brings together the collective artistry of Chris Stapleton and master distiller Harlan Wheatley. Blend number 40 is the carefully curated results of countless hours of testing and tasting. It's a completely unique combination of whiskeys from award-winning distilleries and exactly what you'd expect. A premium whiskey that speaks for itself. Sorry, I'm usually a good reader. It's just this stuff's small. I probably should have printed it out or something. And then it's signed by the two collaborators, Harlan Wheatley and Chris Stapleton. So proudly blended and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Kentucky. So apparently there's other stuff in here. Because what does it say? It says completely new combination of whiskeys from award-winning distilleries and exactly what you'd expect. So it's a blend. See, I can't see them getting distillate, from like a competitor. So what they might be saying is like maybe there were bottles that were gonna be. Let me grab my phone and do a little research while we video. Maybe there was maybe they've got like barrels that were gonna be Weller or E.H. Taylor or Blanton's or something, and maybe they combined some of those. So let's see, what is it? TravelerWhiskey.com. Traveler Whiskey. How do they spell whiskey? They've got an E in it. How do you like to spell whiskey? Put it in the comments. Do you like with an E before the Y, or do you like it just SKY? Because I believe both are correct. I think I spell it with the E. I don't have a real reason behind that. That's just what I do. Traveler, okay, because the page couldn't be found. So did I misspell it? Traveler. W-H-I-S-K-E-Y. W-H-I-S-H-E-Y. Dang it. Fat fingering things. Let's fix that. Whiskey. Give me some whiskey. That's after you've had a bunch of whiskey. And you can no longer say whiskey. There we go. Okay, it's listed under Buffalo Trace's website, actually. So yeah, so going to TravelerWhiskey.com took me to Buffalo Trace. And then, so it redirected to regular Buffalo Trace. 50 blends were made. Number 40 was the chosen one. And they're not gonna tell you. And I'm not gonna read the notes yet. I'll read the notes afterwards. All right, so they're not gonna tell you what's in here. Basically, it's gonna be Buffalo Trace distillate, but who knows which combination of the mash bills that they blended together to do. Who knows? Maybe someone with an inside source, I'm sure, will talk about it on the internet at some point. But anyway, so I don't know which is which at the moment. I've managed not to look at the markings, and I'm gonna continue to try to do that. I might look odd as I do this testing. I wouldn't normally grab the glass by its by the body of the glass. I usually would do it by the little squat stem at the bottom. But I will probably hold them so I can't see anything very easily as we do this. And we're gonna pick out which one's best. Man, I've glanced down a couple times and I've managed not to read it, let my brain recognize it. So we're gonna hit it with the nose first. So that's nice smelling. So let's think about what I get. So I'm getting vanilla, cloves, just a little bit of like a wintergreen. I get wintergreen a lot in some of this stuff. Like I never get like a real minty mint, like a mint chocolate chip ice cream, but I quite often get like a wintergreen kind of mint. Sometimes a spearmint, but not very often. And I'm not trying to guess. I'm simply gonna say which one I prefer, and then we're gonna talk about what that means. So far, well, let me get a couple nosings in. They are very similar. You could tell like they're in the same family. They're very similar. This one smells like sharper, but they're both 90 proof. I forgot to mention that. They're both 90 proof. They're both 45% alcohol by volume. I don't know what the mash bill is. All right, let me kind of get deep into this one and see what I'm smelling. The cloves are here. The cherry's more prominent. There's less vanilla on this one. And I'm not getting the winter mint, the winter green. Okay, so, and I just failed. I just saw what this one was. I was trying to keep my eyes off it, and it was not working out. So based on the nose, I was actually liking this one better, and it's actually regular Buffalo Trace. So that's annoying, but we'll continue. Let's just go with a long review of the Traveler then, since I failed. We will compare it to this, but so on the nose, I picked regular Buffalo Trace. Now, would I have done it if I hadn't? You know what I could do? I could go mix myself up again. You wait here. I'll be right back. If you want to sip, go ahead and grab a sip. But just go ahead and spin these. So I got some ODC. Wait. OCD. What did I say? ODC? Whoops. Anyway, I've got some OCD issues at times, and I like to count things a lot. So I spun these. I again don't know what's in each hand, and you think too, if you keep spinning it, it should be easy to keep track of. So in order to keep my brain from counting how many times I spin them, I had to inventory the spices on the spice rack and like count the bottles in the little bottle racks that I built into the backsplash. So just funny things I have to do if I'm trying to trick myself. And so let me, so I don't look down again by accident, let me because I can feel the etching. I mean, the etching isn't enough. I'm not I don't know Braille, so the etching isn't enough for me to be able to feel it. But if I can tell that the etching's not facing the way where I can see it easy. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so we're back. I don't know what's in place. Now on the nosing, I did prefer the Buffalo Trace. Well, let's see if that holds up. We'll nose it again. That's very interesting. Okay, this time on the nose, I am getting almost like kind of like a little light funky smell like I would sometimes get on a wheated whiskey with a wheat bill. And I'm pretty sure that the Buffalo Trace does not have a wheat bill. So this might be blended. This might be Buffalo Trace blended with something with wheat in the mash bill. So I'm kind of getting some wheat on this one. I think so. Kind of like this nose better, but I think this might be the Buffalo Trace. But we're not guessing anytime soon. Alright, so it's bringing to mind cherries and vanilla. A little bit of pepper spice. A little bit of a Kentucky hug. Like a medium length finish. Let's hit that one again. Nothing new on that second taste. Alright, so let's go ahead and I wonder if I should probably should cleanse my palate right in between each sip. Alright, so I'm gonna set these down. I'm gonna avert my gaze so I can't see it. And I'm gonna go get some water. Water. Cool, clear water. Can't look at the glasses, can't look at the glasses. Gotta keep my eyes up. Okay, now I gotta like look through my peripheral until I get my hands on the glasses again without spilling anything or knocking anything over. Okay, we're back. That's very interesting. So even though I'm getting like the wheat on the nose of this one, which makes me think that's that one, please forgive me, I'll use a different finger to point. This one does not taste like standard Buffalo Trace to me. It's still cherry and vanilla, but it's like the ratios are different. Little tiny Kentucky hug. Finish is about the same length. All right, I'm gonna set this down now. Look at it. I'm gonna take a sip of the water, and then we might at that point give up on the water. All right, we're gonna hit the nose a third time, or who knows how many times it's been. Yeah, it's very interesting. I get like a wheat funk in that. And this is predominantly wintergreen. Huh, interesting. Bright cherry notes, little hint of vanilla. Muted cherry, more vanilla and spice on that one. Now, which one do I like better? They're so similar. It's hard to pick. It's almost like they're just brothers, and they sort of are. For enjoyment, I like this one on the nose better. So this one seems a little more complex. This one's a little smoother. Let's finally see, and if future Izzo did his job right. Wow. Okay. So this one, and that's weird because I'm getting like a wheat funk, which there shouldn't be any wheat in this. I'm pretty sure. We'll verify that. We'll look at the mash bill in a second. But yeah, so this kind of seemed more complex to me. This kind of seemed smoother. Yeah. So it's a good blend. I don't regret buying it. And as far as the price difference goes, I mean, this is $27, this is $40. That's if you can find it at retail. So of the two, this is neat. If you see it at retail, I'd say go ahead and get yourself one because it's a neat talking point. Especially, I don't know if you enjoy Chris Stapleton's music. I don't listen to it regularly, but the songs I've heard have been enjoyable. So it might be a neat talking point, might be a neat bottle to have. I have this one, I have a backup. But if you have to choose between the two, and you don't want this for any like sentimental or unique value, then man, this one's worth more, bang for your buck, as they say. Yeah, let's check out the mash bill real quick then. Let's see what Buffalo Trace's mash bill is. Buffalo Trace mash bill. All right, so let's look up that first. Give me the mash bill. Let's find an image. Here we go. Okay, so mash bill number 1. These are the whiskeys that they have in mash bill number 1. And I don't know if we know. So mash bill number 1 is a low rye mash bill, 10% or less. So in that low rye, we've got regular Buffalo Trace. We've got, sorry, it's hard to see. I don't know why this picture's not working out so well. I'd do it on, I'd do it on my iPad, but I'm recording on the iPad. All right, give me some better pictures, internet. See, these keep taking me to other. I don't like any of these pictures. Come on, someone give me a list or something. Maybe images isn't where it's at. Let's go to home. All right, now we're on the Bourboner blog. Let's have a breakdown, buddy. All right, so let's see. 2 primary mash bills. They don't disclose the exact recipe, but they got some educated guesses, they say. Now what they do tell us, mash bill 1 is 10% or less of the rye, excuse me. Mash bill 2 is somewhere between 10 to 12% rye. Mash bill number 2 with 10 to 12% rye is more common rye content for bourbons. Okay. And then they have a wheated mash bill where the rye portion and maybe more is replaced by wheat. Rye mash bill is thought to be 51% rye. Alright, so here we go. Let's see if the picture looks a little better. Alright, so mash bill 1 contains 10% or less, and that covers Eagle Rare, Old Charter, George T. Stagg, E.H. Taylor, Stagg, Buffalo Trace, and Benchmark. And you've seen some of those on my channel. I haven't had all of them. Now, mash bill 2 is a higher, more normal amount of rye. That's the Ancient Age. That's the Elmer T. Lee. That's the Rock Hill Farms. I've never even seen one of those. That's the Blanton's, and that's Hancock's Reserve, which I've never heard of that one. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Alright, then we got our weeded mash bill, which is basically the Weller's, looks like. WL Weller. Yeah, the Weller's. Then we got a rye mash bill, and of course that's the Thomas H. Handy Sazerac, and that's the regular Sazerac. What's the difference between these two? Well, I think they got a fancy Sazerac and a regular Sazerac. And then, okay, so Buffalo Trace bought the rights. And you know, I'm not a historian, so this is just, you know, this might not be super accurate, but it's pretty close. So at some point, Buffalo Trace got the rights to the Pappy Van Winkle recipe. You know, whenever that happened, I don't know when it happened. And for a while, they had the Stitzer Weller distillate, and so it was the same base White Dog, White Lightning, whatever you want to call it. It was the base whiskey that Stitzer Weller had been making, and it sounds like now, these days, that Buffalo Trace is now using their weeded mash bill. Now, there's no way to prove. There's no way on my part to prove that. So you know, that's just what the internet's telling me, and you know how accurate the internet can be at times. So who knows? But also at other times it isn't highly accurate. So I will do a little more research, and I'll try to let you know on a later stream, because we'll come back. Even though we did like a little bit of a longer review just to be able to do this head-to-head, we'll come back in a few weeks, and we'll see how this Traveler has opened up, and we'll give you more information at that time, whatever I've got. But thanks for hanging out on this Sippin' Sunday. I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the 4 shorts that went out, and if you haven't seen them yet, please go to the channel and check them out. I will probably post them to individual posts, just so that way if you're subscribed, you can find them easier. That's all I got for you today. So if you're working, please work safely as possible. And I don't know if you're in a polar vortex right now. We got -degree wind chill here in Ohio. So be safe. If you're working, be safe. If you're drinking whiskey, drink responsibly, and do everything with a little bit of whimsy, and you're gonna have a good time. All right, I'll catch you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place.